The Twitter streets are talking. I hear it. Dan and Dago hears those concerns. It says, oh, is Compas on the beat over? What's happening to Compas? Dan and Dago is here to tell the whole world that Compas on the beat ain't going nowheres. We ain't going nowheres. We are like Jordan Belfort or whatever his name was in Wolf of Wall Street. You're going to have to get the National Guard, SWAT teams, flashbangs to get us out of here. I keep telling you, this freight train won't be stopping, so buy a ticket. It might be headed in a different direction like South Bend, Indiana, but Compas on the Beat is reaching new heights. So why in the hell would we stop right now? Fernando has taken his talents to South Bend to cover Notre Dame football. He's still a compa on the beat, and he still can open his laptop and talk to Herbert. Oh, it's been too long since I've said the name Herbert. I hope we don't get kicked out of this apartment complex, but I love doing that. After a few weeks off, Compas on the Beat is back, and they have stories to tell from Super Bowl Radio Row to the NFL Scouting Combine. And the Compas have a grand guest, the biggest guest. Sir Patrick McAfee will be joining the show. The great Mr. McAfee joined Compas on the Beat on Radio Row. Some of y'all probably already saw the interview on YouTube. Follow the Compas on the Beat on YouTube. Shout out. But that interview was so good, we're playing it again. We need our listeners on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts to hear this. It was gold. It was magic. People seriously thought Compas on the Beat was breaking up after landing Pat McAfee? Man, stop the cap. Stop that nonsense manure. Go follow Compas on the Beat on Instagram because we're content creators now. This creativity train never stops. Now, it's time for the best damn podcast in the universe from South Bend, Indiana. Play the music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez, Notre Dame football beat writer for South Bend Tribune. With me, as always, from a distance, from the other side of the country, is my partner in crime, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, Chargers beat reporter for the OC Register, LA Daily News. What's up, bro?
That's all you have, Fernando? And I don't know if I like the intro. It sounds weird. It sounds different, but I'm excited for you. Congrats on the new job. Notre Dame football beat reporter in South Bend. And I didn't really plan it for now, but I'm wearing a green sweatshirt, I guess, for Notre Dame. St. Patrick's Day is around the corner, so it's fitting. You know, usually we do these video, Compas, whatever, StreamYard shows. You know, we're not next to each other. You're far away in San Diego. Now you're so far away. I could feel it, man. You're like, whatever, you're 3 hours ahead, a different time zone, different state. It feels strange for now, but I'm happy for you. I'll get over it. But enough about me and my feelings. I know I'm always about myself. But Fernando, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been interesting. I mean, obviously we were in Indy all last week having fun, obviously getting some work done. But yeah, it's been different. Honestly, I got to give a huge shout out to my brother, Dan and Dago, who's been with me during this whole move. It's going to be sad to see him leave because literally we've been up and down South Bend trying to find furniture, trying to find a bed, trying to find this, trying to find that. So it's honestly been a very interesting move. But, you know, it's funny, Gilbert, when I announced on Twitter that I was leaving, that I wasn't going to be with SI, everyone kept on asking, are you guys going to do Compas? Are you guys still going to do it? Are you guys still going to do it? And then obviously, like I announced, I'm now the Notre Dame football beat writer. Everybody again, are you guys so Compas is over? So Compas is over? People, Compas is not over. Gilbert, Dan, and I talked about it. We love this stuff way too much. We love doing this. Now this is just going to be a different version of Compas on the Beat, but you'll still have your Compas. We're still both on a beat, so this is what it's all about. We love this too much. We love doing this too much, and they can't get rid of us, huh, Gilbert?
Exactly. That's when we were brainstorming for the name of the show. You know, what can it be? We made sure, you know, in case you get promoted, like we were all expecting, Fernando, we're going to keep something that will work. So yeah, Compas on the Beat. We're still Compas. We haven't broken up. We're still on a beat, just different beats, and that's okay. Fernando. And this is the first time I'm actually talking to you. You finally moved into your new place. I feel like
Yeah.
you're in a dungeon or a basement. Like I'm telling you, it feels a little off. But yeah, your brother has been very, very supportive with you and your move. And shout out to him. And yeah, it is breaking news, Fernando. We're gonna still keep doing this show. People are a little worried about it. And if that wasn't obvious by us being on here on the show, doing the show, yeah, we're not going anywhere. It might be different, it might look a little different. The topics might change, but obviously we're going to incorporate a little more college football for now. That's what you're doing. You're an expert now. I'm still covering the Chargers. We're going to have a lot of Chargers talk. We'll get to the big contract in a second. But the way we've been done, if you know our show, we're kind of all over the place. We share stories. We like to have fun. We're a little random, and we give you the biggest topics in sports. So, yeah, usually we stick to football, combat sports, wrestling, boxing, UFC, and then just anything random. So we're going to just keep doing our thing. Like we're gonna get to our guest from Super Bowl, Pat McAfee. He's a football guy, but he's having a bunch of NBA guys and wrestlers. So you know what? Why not try something new like us?
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, it was great. It's funny, we haven't done this since Super Bowl week, so it's been interesting. Gilbert obviously wanted to take some time. I wanted to take some time to kind of relax, recharge our batteries. And I feel like the combine kind of did that to us, Gilbert. I feel like it kind of recharged us, got us back into the groove. I mean, and honestly, I think you and I got screwed a little bit, Gilbert, because we have the playoffs ended. We still had to do some playoff stuff. LA obviously was the side of the Super Bowl, and then obviously we're out here in Indy, so we haven't had much time to relax. But I feel like the energy got rejuiced. We were out here. Dan and Dago was out here with us as well. Jeff Miller, Daniel Popper, obviously. Some other friends, Emmanuel Morgan, Kalen Jones, some great people. We hung out with a lot of amazing people this week. But yeah, Gilbert, I mean, do you want to get it started with the news from out in LA? Because I mean, I don't have that news anymore. That's all you now.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's get to it. Mike Williams signed a 3-year, $60 million contract extension with the Chargers, $4 million guaranteed. I think $28 million coming his way for year one. That's a lot of money. So
A whole lot of money.
A whole lot of money, like he says, whole lot of. There you go. You like the way I kind of got that in there.
For sure.
But I'm a little surprised maybe by the way how fast they got the contract extension before the franchise tag deadline. I thought, you know what, they're not gonna rush it. He's obviously a priority. They want Mike Williams back. Tag him, get the deal done in a week or two. So that kind of portion of him being taken care of, I'm not too surprised, but how fast they did it. I started thinking, like, is Tom Telesco trying to franchise tag somebody else? Obviously, that wasn't the case. But like Fernando, you're around for the last year with the Chargers. Tom Telesco really loves Mike Williams. Brandon Staley as well. A lot of people in that organization love Mike Williams. So for him to get paid, getting taken care of, and I kind of been writing this, Fernando, but I think he's Justin Herbert's go-to playmaker now. So you got to take care of him. Obviously, Keenan Allen is still a great player. But you saw the fourth quarters, and when the spotlight is big and the biggest stage is on, Mike Williams always delivers. So for me, you had to get it done, and kudos to the Chargers for getting it done pretty quickly too.
They knew exactly when Joe Lombardi started speaking about him in last February, and then he started more and more. You started hearing more about we're going to change Mike Williams' role. And this was the only shot that I really felt like they took at the previous coaching staff, was that they felt like Mike wasn't being utilized to the full length of his potential. And Mike even said it. Mike's like, yeah, they just told me go down the field and go catch. Here it was, do some slant routes, do some out routes. Now, like I told you, Gilbert, and I'll say it on here, he needs to work on his slants. That's the one area where Mike, he drops a lot of passes. He does a lot, but other than that, this is deserved. Mike deserved it. We've talked about it. Fourth quarter is Mike Williams' quarter. That's when Justin looks his way, but I definitely feel like this was much deserved. Now my question, I mean, and I'm not trying to jump or anything, but they saved now some room in the cap to kind of help them out. Now my question is, will they get Derwin done before free agency to kind of help themselves out again cap wise and go into this? Because I think they're top 3 right now in cap. So it's going to be interesting to see the way they hit this. Obviously, they can get a lot more if they release Brian Bulaga. But Mike definitely deserves this. You saw Justin Herbert's post on Instagram. He's excited about this. As long as your quarterback is happy, that's all that matters. And really, Mike Williams is maybe the poster child for Tom Telesco's approach of you draft him, you develop him and you pay him, because Joey Bosa was already developed when he came in. Like, that dude was already a freak of nature. But he really, I remember, Gilbert, I was around in 2017. He had a back injury all year. He had a disc injury. People started calling him a bust, that he wasn't going to be that good. Second season, he scores 11 touchdowns and had about 700 yards. People were still not sold. Third year, I think it was over 1,000 yards, but he didn't hit the he only had like 2 or 3 touchdowns. So slowly but surely, he's been working his way up, and finally he was able to get there this year with 1,000 yards, and I think he almost had 10 touchdowns. But he had a solid season. They everything that they needed from him, he did, and I really think that Mike is going to continue to grow as one of the best all-around receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's only 27 years old. It's a short deal, 3 years, so maybe Mike could get paid again 3 years from now. So he's gonna be very productive. It's a prime years for the Chargers.
You know whose deal comes up right in 3 years?
Yeah, Justin Herbert. So
Yeah.
they're trying to get him a line, man. And it's just crazy, Fernando, when now that you bring it up. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are gonna make over $20 million, combined this year. 40. So it might be a little different for the way they structure Mike Williams' contract. Maybe it's more of a signing bonus instead of a salary cap hits, but still, he's due all this money. So $40 million combined for your receiving tandem, and your star quarterback who's throwing the ball to them, it's only making $3 million on the salary. So that kind of shows you the luxury for having a quarterback. On a rookie
deal. He's gonna have to shoot more of those commercials.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Poor guy can't afford it out in LA. So that's why you go to South Bend, friend, and get a nice spacious home out there.
There you go. Yeah,
but,
exactly.
The way that today kind of developed is it was kind of funny. It was kind of an indicator or summary of how the Mike Williams roller coaster has gone with the Chargers. like when the deal came out, Chargers Twitter was, oh yes, finally they got the receiver locked down. Mike Williams, he's here to stay. With Justin Herbert, and then they're like, wait, how much is he getting for year one? $28 million for year one. Is that going to affect the cap hit? I mean, the salary cap, we're losing all our salary cap on a wide receiver. And they start losing their mind about Mike Williams. He's always hurt, can't get, career numbers, can't get 100 catches, can't get 10 touchdowns. And I'm like, slow the roll here. Like, if you've been a fan of football, you know that these deals in the salary cap never really matters. Like, if you're a savvy person like Tom Telesco, I'll give him credit. When it comes to the cap, you could find ways to move the money around. And Fernando, you kept telling me all throughout Indy, like, if they get Mike Williams done and Derwin James done, and they move the money around for other years, this year they can have a lot of money in the salary cap. Like I forget what you said, but something like north of $80 million. So they keep doing some of that, so it works out. So people were freaking out, pretty much were like hating the sign of Mike Williams. And I'll call it my mistake here. I kept looking for the cap hit, all these websites, SpotRack, over the cap, and I think SpotRack had the new deal on their website. I'm like, oh, okay, here's the number. It looked kind of weird because it looked like last year's numbers. I'm like, you know what? It's updated. I'll post it. And everybody, like, on a mistake tweet, everybody calmed down, like, oh, it's only $15 million cap hit. I'm cool with that. Yeah, bring on Mike Williams. I'm like, it's like the up and downs all the time. But it turns out the guy got back to me and he said, who runs SpotRack, saying, hey, we just kind of, went from last year to this year, just threw it on there. It wasn't really like the updated numbers, but, he said, I'm guessing it's going to be considerably less than 2021 cap hit. So to be like, under $15 million, it could be, potentially between $6 million cap hit to 15. And that's still plenty of money for the Chargers to revamp defense, special teams, offensive line. So all around, it was a big get for Mike Williams, a big win for the Chargers, a big win for Justin Herbert. Like you mentioned, Fernando, just kind of the way that Tom Telesco does it. He drafts players, well in the first round, develops and brings them back. There's other things with Tom that don't really work out, but when it comes to this kind of philosophy, it usually does.
It's funny, Gilbert. I mean, we're about to transition, but I was into Batman. I went to go watch Batman on Sunday with Dan and Dago. I was like, okay, we need a rest from the driving, from the this, from the that. So we go watch Batman. And I get out of it, and I see a tweet from Mike Garafolo that says the Chargers could be in the mix for J.C. Jackson and or for Stephon Gilmore. And I was like, why would they want to? Because, it was brought up last week, and obviously when all of us got together and we ate, we're like, could Michael Davis potentially be cut or not for the extra $5 million? But I thought about it, and I'm like, I wonder why. Like, obviously, you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes. Getting J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore would be awesome. But now with the newest edition of the AFC West, I think the Chargers should go after J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore, because now Russell Will. That was the big breaking news of the day. Well, first, the breaking news of the day was Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay, and Jerry Jeudy. Did you see that tweet by Jerry Jeudy where he was
Yeah,
all sad?
sad emoji, and then after that, like, oh, we lit.
My God, like it is incredible the way things change in an hour, because now the Broncos are revived. Now they have their guy. Now they have Russell Wilson, and now you look at the division and you're like, oh wow. But Gilbert, what was your initial reaction to Russell Wilson joining the Denver Broncos?
You know, it's funny. This news came out at the same time as the Mike Williams contract, so I saw the Russell Wilson trade first, and I'm like, oh man, this division is stacked. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, and then there goes the Mike Williams. You know, close to a deal. I gotta forget about the quarterback thing. It kind of went in the back of my mind. But now that I'm done with the whole Mike Williams story and writing it out and thinking about it, I'm like, it's gonna be a fun division for now. You kind of left at the wrong time,
I
man.
know.
Sorry, just
I
kidding
know.
there. But
can I tell you how I found out?
Go ahead.
I was at Sam's Club.
I think I know
And I was walking around looking for something, and all I heard was somebody yell, "Son of a!" And I was like, "Who was that?" And it was my sweet, sweet brother. I was like, "What? Stupid Russell Wilson's heading to the Broncos." I hate everything. I was like, "Oh dear God!" I was like, "Really?" And I looked at my phone, and yep, he's heading to the Broncos. And I was like, oh, you know, it's funny. A lot of people texted me, though. Like, as soon as Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos, all I could think about was your brother. And I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. But my bad. Continue your story.
No, but I'm curious if we ever, see him around there, Fernando. I want to was he ever happy at all after Mike Williams,
He
contract
was
and he
happy
calmed
about Mike
down?
Williams because he hates this notion that Mike Williams. He's like, if people think that Mike Williams is still injury prone, go look at the numbers. Mike hasn't missed a game. He didn't miss a game this year except for COVID. And obviously the NFL is done with all that stuff. Then the year before, he had only missed, I think, one game due to injury, if I'm not mistaken, and it was 3 years ago where he missed 2 games. Other than that, Mike Williams has been healthy and he's been a part of the offense, but yeah, no, he was happy about that. He was just not happy about the Russell Wilson thing because he's like, first, he can't understand why somebody would want to join this division when there's already Justin Herbert and there's already Patrick Mahomes. And then obviously Derek Carr might not be what everybody thinks he is, or might not be the superstar quarterback, but he's still a good quarterback. So now why do you want to throw in another wrench in there? But yeah, you're right. This division just got a lot crazier. Now it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Russell adjusts with those. He doesn't have a DK Metcalf that he could just throw it up to. That's going to be interesting. These Bronco receivers tend to they drop the ball a lot, so that's going to be another interesting facet. And then their offensive line, I'm not sold on. So, I mean, and the thing is, the Broncos just gave up a lot to get him. I don't know how they're going to fix that offensive line, to be honest with you, because Garrett Bowles is injured a lot. Their left tackle. The rest of their offensive line isn't very good. So I'm interested to see kind of how they're going to fix that, because if they don't fix that, it's going to be literally Seattle Seahawks 2.0 for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'll crown the Broncos a winner of the trade because, Russell Wilson's still in his prime. Yeah. He had a down year and to only give up, 2 first-round picks and a couple second-rounders and a quality, tight end and Noah Fant and a quarterback and Drew Lock. I have to throw him in there as well. I think the Broncos came up well, and I think that maybe the Seahawks didn't get enough in return because, yeah, maybe, Russell Wilson had a down year. He got hurt and maybe it was a lot of a headache and drama, and they saw, okay, he's going to a different conference. Just get it over with now. I kind of felt a little rushed, especially after the whole Aaron Rodgers domino fell. I'm sure the Broncos were, hey, you know what? Here's our package. Just take it right now and let's get it done. And they kind of caved with that. And Fernando, I don't know if you've seen it, but I watched season 2 of Love Is Blind. There was a couple offers for marriages there. The people rushed, so that reminded me of that.
I'm not done with it yet.
Okay. I'll say,
you know where I'm at, where they all go back home and families start meeting families.
Okay,
that's where I'm at. So I'm not.
You pass all the proposals where people were kind of rushing into for marriages.
Yeah.
Shayna and I forget the other guy's
name. I gotta ask you, because you're more of a shy guy and stuff. Could you do a show like that?
I don't know. I think I could just to kind of experiment, but I don't know, the whole proposal thing so quickly.
You know who I'd love to see on that show? My brother.
Yeah, definitely a brother.
I think he'd be
Your
hilarious.
brother's definitely a Shane.
He'd be a Shane.
Yeah,
No,
he's all over the place.
no, my brother's how would I the way
Shake?
I categorize my brother's romantic in the sense of like he
Yeah.
wants to find that one woman in his life and marry her and be together forever. He's one of those like fairy tale kind of dudes that like wants to marry like I don't know. It's just because I don't know. He's
Then give
different.
me a name to compare brothers. I think Shane was trying to do that, but he was all over the place too. I feel like your
No, but
brother's all over
Shane's the
the
big like roided up
place.
guy, right?
Your brother played football,
You
flag
know what's
football, the
funny?
same thing.
Daniel and I were kind of looking at it, and I'm like, he kind of feels like a Bosa brother. Like he has like he kind of doesn't he like
He
he
does.
kind of feels like a Bosa brother. But I don't know if I could do that show just because like it'd be I don't know I think it'd be really weird to like propose to somebody so quickly. And then some of the characters that you see on there, I'm like, oh god, like who's the one that the girlfriend just brings up everything and she just tries to fight about everything? Nick and Danielle, no.
Yeah, I think her name is
The one
those are
that
the
lost
names. Yeah,
70 pounds.
yeah,
She's
exactly.
so insecure about everything. Like she literally tries to bring up a fight about everything. And I'm like, oh God, like I literally have stomach aches anytime I listen to the both of them because I'm like, dude, this guy's actually a naturally nice guy. Like you're just a terrible human being.
Don't
But
get me started on that couple, friend.
yeah,
We need to get
my
on.
bad. Yeah.
We
But
should do like a breakdown when you're done.
yeah, we
But
should do it.
it just kind of reminds me of that, like the Broncos like rushed the proposal. Hey, Seahawks, are you guys interested? Just take us. He's like,
But
all right.
did you see Trotter's tweet?
No, I missed it. What do you say?
Okay, so Trotter thinks that they could be packaging all those picks up and sending them to Houston for Deshaun Watson on Friday. We're gonna find out basically everything about what's gonna happen with
Yeah,
Deshaun
yeah.
Watson. And if everything goes well, that he's hearing that Seattle could potentially trade all those picks to or trade all that stuff over to Houston and try and get Deshaun Watson because Pete Carroll said he's not starting over. So and they have the receivers, they have everything. They're just missing a quarterback, and maybe Deshaun Watson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett could be pretty good together. And I mean, we saw literally this dude he took the Chiefs or he was up 24-0 on the Chiefs a couple of years ago it was the divisional, right? It wasn't it was the divisional round of the playoffs, and it was just they took their foot off the gas, and that's why they lost. But Deshaun Watson, I think, could still be a really good quarterback, and he could help Seattle do a lot of good things. But I'd be interested to see if they really turn it around and they send those picks to Houston for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I always feel uncomfortable talking about Deshaun Watson, knowing what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on in his life.
yeah.
I guess I'll wait till Friday to kind of give more into, especially just talking about football feels a little weird. But I can see the Seahawks doing it because they are known for making big trades, and some of their big trades lately have not worked out. I don't think the Jamal Adams trade worked out. When they got Clowney, that didn't really work out either. But you know what? The thing that kind of, which is kind of weird, another L for the Seahawks, I think, is when you're like in the battle between for powers with the quarterback and the head coach Pete Carroll, wouldn't you want to go with the quarterback who's younger, still in his 30s, instead of the older quarterback? I mean, the coach is kind of the way out. He's like in the 70s. I don't know how Pete Carroll won that power struggle, but whatever, Seattle, do you? But now I'm interested in how the Broncos do it because, like we mentioned, Noah Fant was a key, weapon for them, and he's not around anymore. I'm kind of mixed about the running game. You mentioned the offensive line as pretty shaky. A year ago, I thought their wide receivers were going to be better. They weren't that good. I know Jerry Jeudy got hurt. Cortland Sutton was kind of off. So Tim Patrick is also solid, but it wasn't like this dynamic trio that I thought they were going to be. The defense is pretty good, but then, they lost Von Miller. But then you just see that Von Miller was trying to tease a potential comeback for, to the
Unless
Broncos.
he
He
takes a
probably knew
lot
about
less
it.
money. There's no way unless
Yeah.
he takes a lot less money.
He probably knew. I think he heard whispers about the Russell Wilson trade. He got excited, or was trying to get the price up for the Rams or whatever. But if he's trying to compete there for leverage, then that means he wants to get paid, right? So we'll see with the Von Miller thing. But I don't know how I feel with the Broncos just yet, and I still don't feel good about the Chargers either because they missed the playoffs and they kept Mike Williams, but they haven't added more to the roster. So. But
Well,
still,
that's
the Chiefs.
my good sir, because free agency hasn't started yet.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I haven't really decided how the
Yeah.
pecking order in terms of teams are. But looking at it right now, it still feels the Chiefs, obviously. But the Broncos, I don't really feel like, they're going to be a scary team. But, good for the Broncos. They got the quarterback, and then the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, obviously, the Chargers need to make a lot of defensive moves. I'd be surprised if they touch the offense. The only way I could see them touch the offense is like maybe a Riley Reef. They bring him in to play right tackle for them. He was with the Bengals last year. Other than that, I mean, receiver and all that, I see that more as the draft. I don't see it as a
A lot
need
of good
for
receivers we
training.
saw Fernando at the combine.
Yeah, no, and there was a lot of fast receivers. So I don't think they're gonna go. I don't think they're gonna go receiver at all during free agency.
Well, let me ask you this real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
With the Russell Wilson trade, the Rams winning the Super Bowl, you think there's more pressure on the Chargers to actually go big moves and not settle for a couple here and there?
I don't think it's big moves. I just think they need smart moves. That's the thing. You don't want to fall in love with like the big names. Like if they actually think that Von Miller could come in and help their defense, which I mean, what I saw from Von Miller the last 9 weeks of the season, especially in the playoffs, he could definitely help Joey Bosa, and they could help each other. The only thing is, you're going to need that defensive line to obviously get better too. And I just don't know because that's the thing is that we all talked about it. We've talked about it. What are they going to do with the big three? Justin Jones, Uchenna Nwosu, and why am I forgetting somebody else?
Kaiser White.
Kaiser White. In my opinion, I think they're only going to keep one, and if they would keep one, it'd be Uchenna. But why? Because I think Justin Jones kind of gets hurt a little bit too often. Kaiser White, it was just barely his first year where he really played well. I don't know if they're and linebackers. You could basically go and get a young, maybe a veteran and a sure tackler like Kaiser. But I'm really interested to see kind of what these guys are going to do in free agency. But yeah, I do think that they need to make some smart moves for players that are going to fit their system because man, your cornerback group aside of Asante Samuel Jr. is not good. Your safeties aside of Derwin James are not good. Your linebacker core is a little bit better, and your pass rush is not good besides Joey Bosa. So I'm really interested to see kind of how they're going to try and build this defense, especially because like we've said, they do have a lot of needs. And the only returning player on the defensive line right now is Jerry Tillery, and that's not going to help any because I mean we all know what kind of a player Jerry Tillery is. But I'm interested. What do you think? Do you think that it added pressure?
I think so for a little bit, especially they probably had like a whole plan in place. Okay, we're aggressive, we're gonna do well, and then we got to deal with Russell Wilson now with the Broncos in the division after dealing with Patrick Mahomes, and even obviously can't underestimate Derek Carr. He got the win in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
So it's a very stacked division. So maybe it kind of gives you some urgency. Maybe the plan doesn't change too much. I still think defense and special teams are going to be a big focus for this team in free agency and in the draft. So they're already trying to retool, the roster, especially. Maybe the biggest pressure of them all is Justin Herbert's contract. Is he's eligible after year 3. I can't believe we're already talking about one more year for Herbert and he's gonna get paid. Like I'm gonna get sick and tired, fan of all the when is Herbert gonna get paid contract talks for the next year after this one is over. So it's already coming up. The bills due, Fernando, like a fat steak at St. Elmo's. So you need to have money ready for that.
Yeah, and you got to win. But all right, Gilbert. Very, 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 very early ranking of the AFC West. We should do this probably once every 3 months and see if it moves any. But right now, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm curious to see about what you think. I've already ran my list through for a couple friends to see if am I crazy, am I delusional. People agree with me, so I'm curious to see what you say. For now, you're the last person to tell me, confirm me if I'm delusional or if I'm spot on. So should I go from? I'll go
You
bottom or
go
first?
four. Go four.
Okay, 4. Okay. Raider fans are gonna hate me. Derek Carr is number 4. Great year last year. Was top 5 in passing yards, but not a top 5 in the division just yet. Or he is top 5, not the league. Sorry, that was a joke. Sorry, I botched that, Fernando. Number 3, it might be a surprise. I love this player, and maybe your brother will say, "Hey, I told you so." Russell Wilson from the Denver Broncos is number 3. If you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have put Russell Wilson ahead here because he's a proven quarterback, great resume. I think he's still in his prime, but he came off a bad year. I don't know if it's because he's trying to leave Seattle and he had some injuries. It just wasn't a good year for him overall, so I'm going to put him 3rd. This one might upset your brother and Chargers Twitter, but I got number 2, Justin Herbert. Great year, but I still haven't seen the guy play in a playoff game. So number 1, Patrick Mahomes, year in, year out, does well in the playoffs. I'm sure your brother's going to remind me about the AFC title game against Joe Burrow, but I think Mahomes is still number one.
I don't think you're gonna like my list.
Oh, okay, I'm glad it's different. I like
And
this.
no, it is. Number 4, Russell Wilson.
Ooh,
The reason why we haven't seen him play with this team, we haven't seen what he's going to be with this team. I'm telling you, going from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who you've had the last 3 or 4 years, you're comfortable with them, you know them, to go into a whole new system where these receivers are nothing like those. I think it's going to be very different. That offensive line is not very good. The tight end now is bad. Like there's no, like Noah Fant is a good tight end. You let him go. I'm interested to see kind of how he's never played in the AFC West, so I can't rank him all that high because the other guys have played. They've made the playoffs except for one. But third, I'm going to go Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr, you were spot on that. Derek Carr, yeah, he made the playoffs. But I mean, it was just off of emotion. It was off of what they were feeling, the what happened to them last year. Derek Carr's a good quarterback. He's not bad, but it's just he doesn't have that next level. He doesn't have that next level. And I don't know if you saw, but he blocked Paul Gutierrez, our compa, our good friend of the show. He blocked him on Twitter. So we're gonna have to get Paul on in the next few weeks and ask him what happened there. But that was pretty interesting. And then obviously we have to go with I have to go number 2, Justin Herbert as well. I think Justin just needs that playoff series because, man, I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like he's like Goldberg, and as soon as he gets let into the playoffs, he could just destroy and wreak havoc on everybody. I want to see it. Like I want to see if Justin Herbert just goes full like Goldberg on everybody and spears everybody and jackhammers people as soon as he gets into the playoffs. But I really wanted to see it. I wanted to see it this year because we could have gotten Chiefs and Chargers. And I'm telling you, Emmanuel Morgan, good friend of the show from the New York Times, he told me, he's like, bro, I want Chargers Chiefs first round. I'm like, dude, that would be killer. Like that would have been a great first round because that would have been a slugfest all around. So it would have been fun to see. And then one, I have to go Mahomes. Mahomes hasn't. He's literally. I think he hasn't lost in the division all that much. He doesn't lose games. He really is. I mean, he literally is this generation. Like he's the winner of just generation. He doesn't lose many games.
You almost said Tom Brady, huh?
Huh?
You almost said Tom Brady.
I almost said it, but I can't. It can't come out of my mouth because he hasn't won as many rings as Brady had in his first 4 years. But it's close. And I mean, the guy just wins. He wins football games. You're not out of it when he's at the quarterback position. So I really can't. I really can't say anything bad about him. So yeah, that's how I have it. I have Mahomes, Herbert, Carr, and then Wilson. And obviously Wilson will probably balloon up as soon as the season starts just because he's Russell Wilson and he's a good quarterback. But I have a lot of doubts about this Denver Broncos team. Everybody says they're a quarterback away. I don't know about a quarterback away. I really need to see how this team operates on the field. But they do have some good pieces there on their team.
I think you were taking off many Chris Jericho lists for Raider fans when you ranked Wilson below Derek Carr because you were on their list when you called that game not a thriller. So Fernando, congrats, you're off the list.
Oh my God, it was not that good of a game. So I don't know about that, but yeah, no, that's just. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I want to see what Russell Wilson can do. I want to see what he can do on the Broncos. My question though is, I understand you had to go get a new coaching staff and everything, but can you imagine Vic Fangio with Russell Wilson? If you would have brought in a good offensive coordinator, you might have had a better. I mean, I don't even know who their defensive coordinator is now, but I'm interested to see kind of what they're going to do with this Broncos defense. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. But Gilbert, let's go with the breaking news of the day. Our good friend Patrick McAfee. He broke the news this morning that Aaron Rodgers was going to stay in Green Bay, that he was that he contemplating moving to another team. He was honest. He contemplated moving to another team. He contemplated moving to retiring, and he contemplated staying with the Packers. Ultimately, he decided to stay with the Packers. I want to give Aaron Rodgers credit, though. And I mean, I know a lot of people like to throw shade at him and do all this stuff. I'm not going to do that. Aaron could have gone on the Pat McAfee show and literally just, again, gone on it, started his whole thing, and then gotten into it. Oh, yeah, I want to stay. But he decided to just tell Pat McAfee, get it out of the way. He doesn't have to do all the theatrics. I thought that was pretty good of him because, I mean, you don't want to jump on again. And then what was it last time? It was almost 200,000 people were viewing just to see what he would say.
I was one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think it's good on him that he didn't do that again. Just, hey, here, Pat, here's the info, and Pat obviously put the info out there. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, Pat broke the news that he's going back to Green Bay. Now it's about getting Devontae Adams. I think they're going to franchise tag him again. But I don't know if you saw what Ocho Cinco tweeted out. But he's like, as the representation of Devontae Adams, my client is not going to hit the field until he's promised the cheese that he deserves. So is it now going to be Devontae Adams gate, or are they going to start? Is there going to be beef between all them? I don't know.
That is the first thing I thought about. I'm like, how are you going to take care of Devontae Adams? Probably, not probably the best wide receiver in the NFL, and I'll say probably one of the top 10 players in the NFL. He's that good. He's that special. And yeah, you got Aaron Rodgers back, and that's great and all. But where's the money for Devontae? You can't make him wait another year, so you got to figure that out somehow. But the franchise tag, we forget, it's not the end. It's not, it doesn't end everything. You still have time to work out a contract until July 15th. So maybe Devontae makes his money now until then. Because if he, because if he's upset or something about, I'm gonna get the franchise tag, he probably would have made it known on Twitter or something. I haven't seen anything like that. He's probably excited about Aaron Rodgers. So I think something will get done, and maybe it's a little kind of an afterthought. But I'm curious about what happens to Jordan Love. Like, he's going down to year 3 of his rookie deal. He won't play anytime soon with Aaron Rodgers around, still playing really well, back-to-back MVP. So do you trade Jordan Love to, I don't know, Seattle, who knows where, but you can't keep holding him hostage and not use that rookie deal. That's a benefit. Like, we're looking with the Chargers. That's a plus to have a rookie deal. So that is weird. And yeah, it worked out with Aaron Rodgers. I won't give him too much credit. He could have done it on that show that I watched, Fernando, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But he did it before the franchise tag deadline. The dominoes started falling, like we mentioned with Russell Wilson. The franchise tag started hitting. So he kind of was like, okay, the NFL begin now. And it was a crazy day today with Mike Williams and all that. So, you know what? For the people in the NFC North, the Vikings and the Lions and the Bears, it's a sad day for them because they're not going to win the division anytime soon. But now
he's back.
Aaron Rodgers or your brother?
No, Aaron Rodgers.
No, okay. I wanted to see your brother, but yeah, he is back, and it's going to be a nightmare for them for the next 4 years. And I guess, but the Packers going to beat the 49ers or whatever. Who knows? But we'll save that conversation for another day.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the Packers. What are you going to do to get better? And with Aaron Rodgers making all this money and everything, supposedly it's going to be a cap-friendly deal that he's going to re-sign. But I'm interested to see kind of what he's going to do.
That reminds me, I haven't caught up, Fernando. Maybe you did because you're caught up on the Pat McAfee show. I did like how Pat was calling out people for not giving him credit for breaking the story.
Oh yeah,
he was like, "Where's my credit? Where's my credit?" I'm like, "Yeah, like a true reporter, Pat. You need to get your credit when you're breaking news." But then he said something about like the numbers were off. That's not true, according to my source, was Aaron Rodgers, by the way. Was that cleared up with the contract numbers?
They haven't said, the contract still hasn't come up. They haven't said it, but hold on. I have breaking news. The man is here. He is here, ladies and gentlemen. We got Dan and Dago Gilbert. Here is the man himself.
Good evening, Stooge. How you doing?
How's it going, sir? Can you see through those glasses, man?
No, I can't see a damn thing right now. It's real dark out here. I'm cold. Let me tell you, people.
Is it because you've been crying all day about Russell Wilson going to your division?
Crying, good sir. Are you kidding me? He's not even the 4th best quarterback in the division.
Wait, what?
No, I'm kidding. He's above Derek Carr.
Okay, I was going to say. All right. Well, give me your instant reaction, Dan and Dago. I was kind of worried about you for a second. I laughed a little bit because I knew you were going to be a little upset, but then I felt bad for you.
Look at this.
It's a loaded division, man. But how did you feel?
Look at this scumbag just pulling out his shovel, not even actually mourning for me. He's just like, oh, this is hilarious. I can't wait to get this man riled up. Well, guess what? I am riled. But let me tell you something. I'm not even going to lie. As soon as I saw Rodgers going back to the Packers, first I said, okay, what an idiot. Fine, he wants to go back. Fine, he wants to go back and lose in the first round. That's cool. Let him go. Then I see the trade to Russell Wilson out here, and I'm like, I am nervous just because, like, he's not a low IQ quarterback like Drew Lock or one of those other guys. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, I got Justin Herbert. Who the hell's this guy? Like, everyone forgets that when he won the Super Bowl. Let's look at me in the eyes right now. What won him that Super Bowl right there? Let's be real. run game and defense. Thank you very much. And then when they put it in his hands, pick six or pick at the one to seal the game. So I am nervous. I'm not nervous. I mean, I'm this was worst case scenario, or this is best case scenario, honestly. Because if it would have been Rodgers, like you would have seen some real tears. I would have pulled the hanky out of my back pocket and everything.
I'm very disappointed, Danny boy. I wanted you to be a little more frustrated, but good to see you doing well. You're not like very upset about this. But another question I have for you, I tell Fernando, I was asking for you in the beginning of the show because it's a big day for you. A roller coaster of emotions. But what about Mike Williams? Does that make you feel better about the Russell Wilson?
Hey, let's freaking go over here.
Okay, there you go.
That was the best news I got today, this morning, afternoon, whoever, those geniuses, blue check mark brigade, whichever one of them broke it. I saw that and I was like, okay, thank God. Like that's at least a little bit off my it's good. Yeah, there you go. It's good for the program. Okay. Like this program needs as many weapons as we can get. Like, I don't want to start name dropping and pulling out my own shovel, but we need to improve some of these weapons for the program this year because this is going to be no joke. Like, this is going to be a shootout at the OK Corral because I love Westerns, but you can't come in here with one running back, one tight end that's decent or this or that. Like, you really need to be ready to go on all three phases of the game and everything else.
Okay, Dale, because I can't stand you for longer than 5 minutes, I'm asking you one more question before I let you go and bring in your brother.
Look at this stooge.
How was that?
Hold on, before you ask me a question, he says this to everyone, but per sources, he feels a different way, and I know it. Inside sources tell me.
We'll get to it eventually. We have stories from the comment. We got to get to your boy Pat McAfee, who's going to be on the show. Tease. But how was that? How was that the IKEA run? You're all settled in with your brother there in South Bend?
Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I've been to Costco so many times today that recognize me. I even got to go to Home Depot and rent a truck. That was fun. One thing I know right now, the pickup is gonna be a next car that I get. That's gonna be the next one. I really like that. I think it's gonna be good for the program.
Getting a nice Japanese Toyota truck.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you right now. I hope my family's watching. I will not let you borrow my truck for whatever you want. Ain't gonna happen. Gilberto, maybe.
Yeah. If I'm moving and you come up to San Diego with the truck, is that okay?
Who, you?
You. I need your truck. If you come up, will you do it for me?
Are you gonna be Gilberto or are you gonna be Herbert?
That's up to you to decide, man. Get out of my screen and give me your brother back.
Dude, are you kidding? I was so worried about name dropping your name the whole time because I'm like, we're gonna get calls, we're gonna get the police on us. Like in this apartment, people are gonna be angry. They are not gonna be happy with your boy Dan in Indiana, Dan in the Midwest, Dan in South Bend. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Irish Dan, because we don't we like to drink like Irishmen? Is that not a fact?
All right, we got no more time. Get out of here. All right, we got no more time. Get out of here.
Oh, we're done?
Yeah, get out of here.
Right. Shout out to everybody watching. We ain't going nowhere. So I want that to be known. Nowhere. Don't pull this mic.
We only cut promos here, right?
But yeah, there you go. You wanted him. You had him, Gilbert. There's Dan and Diego.
I always regret it because he goes on these long tangents. I have to cut him off and bring him back in. But we're good. It was fine. Not that bad.
There you go. Well, now let's go to our new friend, Pat McAfee, who obviously we have stories for days. We'll talk about that on Una Mas. Obviously, you guys have heard some of the stories, but let's go now to Pat McAfee and really we had a great conversation with him. So let's go to him now. This man needs no introduction. You know him. He was a legend in kids soccer. He even went to Europe. He was a punter for the Colts for years. He was now he's a TV star. He has the Pat McAfee show. You know, you love him, Pat McAfee. I'm going to use your phrase if that's cool. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? Hey, thank you guys so much for having me, man. It was nice seeing you guys on Monday night. Whenever we got in here, you guys are one of the only group that was in here working, so I have a lot of respect for that. And the fact that I got a chance to come over here on Friday, happy you're still open and chit chat. You guys are the best. Thank you for all the love, man. It's been a fun week here.
First of all, Pat, we were a little surprised you made it, on Monday night because you were on that nice private jet having fun. How did that kind of trip turn out for you guys?
Well, the trip was great, and we were viewing this week as like our holiday party on this, because for us, the year ends, when the Super Bowl happens, So the boys and I had a massive year. We're very busy this year. I think everybody's excited to take a nap after the Super Bowl, but also we wanted to treat this week and do it right and enjoy the process. And now, obviously, as soon as we landed here, we had no rental cars, so we're kind of out in the airport, actually, about 45 minutes away from our Airbnb, so it was almost a catastrophe. But we did survive. We moved along. We've had an absolute blast, man. We're trying to enjoy it. I hope you guys are doing the same.
Yeah, I got the concert yesterday with Wiz Khalifa. I was in the back dancing, but I heard there was a lot of noise complaints. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go. Like, hopefully we will get invited back. You know, I don't know how many people have turned this place out like that. It was awesome. And we are so lucky. FanDuel is our exclusive. And obviously, a lot of people heard about our deal being signed and the amount of freedom that they allow us to have because they don't own any part of my company. There's no like stock or revenue exchange. It's just like they're our official sports book in this entire world. And they've been so nice. And them taking care of us, putting us up there. They're probably going to have to answer some questions for the concert, you know. But I think it was all for the good cause. I hope everybody had a good time with it.
Pat, I think I told you yesterday, that is the first time there's ever been a concert on Radio Row that I know of. And I knew if anybody could do it, it'd be Pat McAfee.
I don't know about could do it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could do it. The thing about us is, you know, it's really nice. The freedom is very nice. Like the fact that we can, you know, I don't have a boss telling me what we have to talk about. Like FanDuel, they're our partner in our sports book. We have other partners as well, and nobody says, hey, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. So that type of freedom, I think a lot of people would do much better things than us with. But, I mean, having Wiz Khalifa magical. And as a kid from Pittsburgh, getting a chance to do that, have that day, and then the moment, it's stupid. I assume we won't be able to do it again. I mean, I assume it's not going to be something that's going to become a regular occurrence. I assume we're going to have to answer some questions, but I'm happy you guys enjoyed it. That is good news that you guys enjoyed it, and that's really all I care about.
We want to see you in Arizona in 2023. We hope they allow you back, but I got to ask you, at 29, you decide, I'm done.
Yeah.
Michael Wilbon, famous clip. Hey, somebody grab that guy and bring him back
hold his jersey on him.
Yeah. From that moment to now, I mean, just when you look back at everything that you've accomplished, Barstool, then jumping and doing your own thing and everything, just what's your biggest takeaway from what you've been able to do?
I don't know. Like, so I think you got to have a great team with you. Like, I was very fortunate to have the people around me that I had because a lot of people thought I was insane, Wilbon included. My mom and dad also. I mean, Wilbon was not alone in his thoughts. He just so happened to be the loudest on a massive platform. And I happened to see it live happen. And it was like, okay, this guy doesn't even know that I've already done like stand-up comedy tours. I've already had a podcast. I've already had a merch business. I think whenever I was nearing the end of my career, I started trying to do stuff off the field. And, I started realizing that there's money to be made off the field. So when I did my first stand-up tour, I literally rented all the theaters and I sold the tickets off my Twitter account. So it was basically my own production for this entire thing. We sold like 10,000 tickets in, I think like, it was like 4 minutes or something like that in Indianapolis. At that point, I didn't really know what I was going to say on stage, but my people were like taking care of me. And the amount of philanthropic things I was doing off the field, it was just like I was getting so much fulfillment off the field. And I saw that there was a chance to maybe make some money as well and continue to, take care of my family and friends. It's just like the universe telling me I should retire, and a lot of people didn't see it that way. I had I still love the game. I still love the league. I still love being a fan of the NFL. I just thought my purpose wasn't to be just a kicker on fourth downs when the offense failed anymore. And although I'm very thankful for the NFL, my experiences, my friends, I just felt like it was the right move at the time. And obviously hindsight will say that it was the right move, but it could have went terribly. I mean, it could have went bad. There was a couple times where I thought like, okay, I'm going to have to go back and kick. And I'm happy that wasn't the case. And hopefully others will be able to do the same. But I got real lucky with the people that was around me.
And Pat, I'm a newspaper guy. I work for the Orange County Register, and your story, stood out because you work for the Indy Star as a host for that newspaper. You got a lot of newspaper people asking you, how can you get a younger audience? How can you get younger people to care about football or read your story? And you got a nice product, and you blew up pretty quickly. So people, I guess, for myself and editors who work at newspapers and media outlets, what do you recommend to kind of get that younger audience to care?
Man, I have no idea. I honestly have no clue. Like, this is something that started happening now because people have seen our success. Obviously, our success has gotten announced now to a lot of people. So I have become a position where people are like, hey, what should I do? How should I do it? And I'm not the person that has any answers because I only know what worked for us. And what worked for us was us just being us. And I think that's something that is happening in the world a lot. A lot of people are trying to be somebody else, but They don't even know that the somebody else that they're trying to be is probably trying to be somebody else as well. So now you're second generation fake person, and you're trying to be something that you're not when there's only one of you. So I think like the authenticity of somebody and like owning who you are, why you are, what your story is. You're a writer, so you should be talking as somebody that is a writer. Like I think everybody has their own individual unique story and their unique perspective and angle and narrative, and they all always get caught up in kind of trying to tell somebody else's story. Everybody sounds the exact same if you can tell someone's story. So like that would be my only, try to find like authentic, try to find younger people, even older folks that have a very high comfort level with who they are. And I think that is how you break through, because now we're just in the era where people want to know who you are, what you're about. And if they respect that and like that, I think they'll follow you wherever the hell you go. And I think you just have to give it to them. So I think that is the biggest thing, is just like being authentic to yourself. That's what I would say. But there's been people that have made it doing vastly different things, characters, bits, all that stuff. And that's just not my thing. So I think that's what I would say, is just try to find people that are not scared of being themselves.
Pat, you said it. And I mean, I remember there's a clip where Dan Patrick told you, take care of the boys.
Yeah.
That's what you've done. And I mean, I think that's a huge part of your success has been the people that you have around you. Just the way you've been able to go and do it with your best friends. What has that meant for you?
Yeah, and I think that was, DP in the Danettes there. Like, that's a show that obviously changed the game. Now, he came from ESPN, so he was already on a platform, but he had to make the decision to stop, like the guarantee contract, go out, do his own thing. He made deals, brought along the Danettes. I mean, that is a blueprint of success in this world that is magical. And he's obviously incredibly talented, as is all of them. But the thing about like taking care of your boys is when I made it in the NFL, all my friends like to have a good time. So I'd go back. I had money for the first time, I'd take care of my family, get them out of debt. Like, let's go ahead and do this, because they bet the house on me a few different times, remortgaging, that we would make it. And it's really cool to see Tim and Sally kind of enjoy life here a little bit and a little bit more freedom. Money doesn't bring happiness, but it sure does bring freedom. And freedom can bring you a little bit of happiness as well. There's other worries, but like the fact that my mom and dad don't have to worry about when they're going to buy something that the card's going to get, rejected. Like, that's a cool thing to be able to provide my parents. Like, that's awesome. And the boys, whenever I was in the NFL, I'd go back and want to party. I'd be like, in the offseason, hey, let's go have a good time. I got money. We can go to this party down in like Fort Lauderdale. We got a plane. We can go. Boom. Let's go do this. And they're like, oh, we got to work, dude. Like they were 22 years old, 23 years old. They had to work. So I had to wait until like Fridays and then Saturdays, and I'd be sleeping on the couch with my friends. I'm like, I want to figure out a way where we can all get rich. I want to figure out a way where we can work together. We can all have a good time. And it took a lot of faith from my boys, who all quit their jobs the same night that I retired from my job on Comedy Central. So, taking care of them just seems like a natural thing, because we'd never be where we are today. But I'm being told that is not necessarily a normal thing, I guess. And I don't know how it couldn't be, especially with how damn good all those boys are, man.
Man, I got to ask you. I mean, you said, I'm up to something. I'm up to something. And this isn't the deal. When you announced that you were going to be the announcer on SmackDown, and how did that come together? Like, that is just so crazy. Because I know you had wrestled, you had done something. By the way, you were awesome. Wrestling.
I'm completely defeated.
Oh yeah, I remember when you showed up with the
sleeve. Yeah. I was trying to be as full heel as
back Adam Cole over there trying to start you when you were there.
He's a terrible guy.
He's terrible.
Yeah. He's like Ghostbuster now.
Exactly. So I mean, just how did that come to fruition? You being an announcer for SmackDown? That's so awesome. And then getting to work like a fool.
Yeah. So my, throughout my life, I've had different dreams of things I wanted to be. And they're all jobs that paid people very well. So I think it's like anything that I thought somebody was going to get rich from when I was a kid, that's what I wanted to be. So depending upon what age I was at, what I was into, what I was watching, what I was seeing, wrestling was always a constant though, because it was always on Monday. It was athletic people. It was people that could talk a little bit. I felt like I fit in pretty good and I enjoyed it. So wrestling was really the only thing that was with me through every dream that I had. It was always like wrestling's going to happen. And if you ask any of my friends from either junior high, high school, college, even in the NFL, like they would tell you that I said like, hey, I'm supposed to be in the professional wrestling business. I think I'm supposed to be in the professional wrestling business. And I was always very open about that. Always chat about that. And Michael Cole was the first person to ever bring me into the WWE. The WWE actually put me on their network before anybody else would put me on their network. They had me doing the kickoff shows for NXT, and I thought that was like my WrestleMania moment. When I was asked to come do these kickoff panels for NXT, I was like, dream come true this moment. I got a text from a number. He said, hey, can I call you? And I said, who is this? He said, Michael Cole. And I said, Michael Cole is texting me. Who? Michael Cole from WWE? He said, yes. And they called him. I was like starstruck when he called me. And he offered for me to do the kickoff panel. And then the kickoff panel happened for like a year and a half, 2 years. There's a future senator coming in. And then a congressman. So that happened. And then the match took place, obviously, with some scumbag Adam Cole. And then that whole thing happened. And I kind of got written off television. But it wasn't because, like me, I think it was because WWE thought my schedule wouldn't allow me to do anything. So then whenever the Thunderdome was taking place and they were thinking about shaking some stuff up, Michael Cole called me. He was like, hey, this is what we're thinking. Corey's going to have to go to Monday because we're getting a new play-by-play person. Would you want to commentate SmackDown? And it was like an immediate yes for me. I was like, yes, I would love to do it. I never thought I'd be a commentator, but I'd love to do it. And then we had to figure out the logistics, because it was in Tampa. I was still doing my show, the Thunderdome, COVID testing. It was the whole thing. but it was a dream come true. I love it. I'm obviously missing tonight's show, and I'm like, bummed, like actually very, very bummed about it that the plane couldn't happen. But yeah, I'm living a dream, man. I'm living a bunch of dreams. I'm very, very lucky doing it.
Pretty cool, Pat. But I got a tough question for you. And you got a lot of big time guests over there at your booth, but or on the show as well. But I'm a big fan of Bad Bunny, wrestler.
San Benito.
When is he coming on? Benito.
I've never talked to him. I obviously got a chance to call his Royal Rumble appearance. I mean, he hits a destroyer. I mean, on Riddle in the middle of that thing. Absolutely unbelievable. It would be a dream come true to talk to Bad Bunny. I'm a big fan of his work. I think he's like probably the second best celebrity matches in history. If I had, that's pretty good. There's been a lot of celebrity matches, but he's the man. I love how much he's invested, especially because, like, I've been training since I was in the NFL. I like bought my own ring in the off season. I'd be doing obviously put in to get to where he's at. That on top of his incredibly hard schedule with all the other stuff he has going on. Nothing but the utmost respect. I'd love to talk to him, man. My Spanish is muy bien, So I think
that's what I was going to ask you next. So our show's called Compas on the Beat.
Of course it is.
Compas is
on the beat. Yeah.
So we're Compas.
Yeah, we are.
There we go. Hey. Exactly. So just wanted to know, how's your Spanish?
So my Spanish isn't bad. I always said, aquí estamos, mi amigos, just because a guy that worked at the Indianapolis Colts, I chatted with him like every single morning, and he spoke Spanish. We had coffee together, and I was like, hey, if I ever find myself in a situation where I got to speak Spanish, like, what's something that's like a disarmer, And he was like, aquí estamos, mi amigos, should be good. I'm like, perfect. So I just locked that thing in. So anytime I get into a conversation with somebody, I'll drop that early. They'll think that I speak good Spanish, and then I'm like, I don't speak good Spanish. So we go to English immediately. Then Rey Mysterio got in my life, okay? So Rey Mysterio on SmackDown, I started like talking to him like every week. I'm like, hey, I need something. Like when you and Dominic go out there, I need something in Spanish to go. So each week he would give me like one word to try to say. And whether it made it on air or not is whether or not I remembered how the hell to say it. But I'm not a smart person, but if I could learn how to speak Spanish, that would be for the benefit of everybody in my life. And I hope one day I'll be able to do it.
Last question for us. When you guys put AJ Hawk on a plane, because of what he does as a human, he's driving with 2 feet and leaving the gas tank, filling up the gas tank with the car on.
Yeah, and sleeping while driving.
Driving. You guys have to like tie him down to a chair? Or
he was getting a bit antsy. Yeah, he was getting a bit antsy. He was standing up. The big baboon tried to take the plane down, and he was falling asleep the entire time as well. So he had a massive, deranged finger-having man standing over my shoulder, sweating because it was too hot. He was falling asleep while standing. It was a nightmare experience, but we got him. And AJ Hawk's one of the most impressive humans of all time. Also the most toxic and ridiculous human of all time at the same time.
And you have little Axel on his way up.
Yeah, the Hawk generation of family is going to be something in Ohio.
We need him to break that story. Where's Aaron going to go? That's what we're waiting for.
Hey, scumbag. I put him on the not Aaron, AJ. I put him on the spot last night for like $100,000 up for grabs for like fans and give us an actual answer. And I think it's the first time he told the truth. He thinks Green Bay, but I don't think anybody knows at this point. We'll kind of see how it goes. We're very lucky for AJ though doing our show. He's the man. He's perfect and great for us, and very, very lucky for that.
Pat, thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, Monday when we met you, it was awesome, and I thought, okay, if we can get him on, that'd be a great week for us. So we definitely are excited.
Real quick, Pat, I had a bet with him. I said, you get Pat McAfee off the show, I'll buy you dinner. So
Here we go.
Here we go.
I told you guys I was going to come over
No.
here.
We
It
know
was
when I was
before that.
No, it was before that. Like,
I am happy that this cleared out a little bit before I came out here. I mean, there's already kind of a line forming over there, but
Yeah.
like, definitely going to get here.
no, yeah, but Monday. And so, like, before you guys even showed up over there, he's like, "Oh yeah, if you get him on the show,
Yeah,
I'll buy
right.
you dinner." Like, yeah, right.
What are you eating tonight, man? You got Craig's?
I don't know.
Maybe you should come and he's buying. I mean,
You're beyond there. I'm about to sleep, man. We got a FanDuel party tomorrow night out here that I got to host for like another 3 hours. I'm streaming live during the Super Bowl. Then we got Overreaction Monday. Big guest. You're gonna love my guest on Monday.
I can't wait. I watch. I'm saying, man, I'm
Hey,
writing.
Monday, big guest.
Really? All right. I can't wait.
You are gonna be pumped.
Okay. I'm gonna be hyped.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Monday's guest
wait.
is huge.
I can't wait.
First
Well,
timer.
First timer?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for
No, thank
joining
you for
us.
having
Thank
me.
you so much.
Compas
On the beat.
on the beat, dude. Bunch of homies around here. Cheers.
What did I say? I told you that interview with Pat McAfee needed to be played twice. What a great collaboration between the boys and the Compas. We need to do that again. Okay, now it's time to share a few stories from the Super Bowl and the NFL Combine. We seriously don't have enough time to share all the stories, but don't let Herbert fool you. He enjoyed my company both weeks. Now we're the three best friends that anyone can have. Now let's get to the best damn segment in the podcast universe. It's time for Unamos.
Gilbert, who do you think was more energized, Dan and Dago or Pat McAfee?
I think we kind of caught Pat towards the end of Super Bowl Radio Roll. So he was a little tired, but still a lot of energy. So I guess I'll give the nod to your brother there because he's fresh down there in South Bend right now, or maybe he's a little tired too. I really don't know. Your brother's up and down, and he was a good chauffeur driver during Indianapolis. So I think he was doing okay. And I guess to kind of give you the story, that interview was from Super Bowl Radio Row a couple of weeks. We're a little behind there. Apologies for the bad audio, but we got it done. And we wanted to make sure to include it into the show because it's our first show like in a month, I feel like. And I thought it was a great interview, right, Fernando?
No, I really thought that we were able to get Pat on, and it was incredible because, I mean, we met him that night, that first night on Monday night. We were chilling there. We saw him, and we saw Viva Lazito. We saw AJ Hawk, and went up to him, started talking with them, and they were awesome. I mean, and it's funny because some people will say, oh, well, you never want to meet the people that you see on TV or whatever, but we met them, super nice, really cool. They took a picture with Dan, obviously. So they were pretty cool. And then I remember asking him, hey, would you jump on the show? And he goes, yeah, let's do it. And all week we were waiting. And then he finally told Gilbert, I think on Wednesday, hey, I'm going to jump on Friday. And Friday, it took a while, but man, he jumped on with us. He was awesome. And he said, however long you guys want, well, I'm willing to talk. So I was like, okay, cool. So we didn't want to have him too long. I saw some other tables that had him on for a long time, and I'm kind of like, dude, you want to release him after a little bit, and especially Adam Hill, who's over here hogging him, friend of the show, obviously, great guy. We got to that Adam thing was hilarious. That it was.
Yeah, I guess I'll say it, Fernando,
You
because
have to.
when we were interviewing, not actually, were we? Okay,
Yeah,
no,
we
it
were
was-
interviewing Tony Khan.
Oh yeah, so we were done with Pat McAfee, and by the way, this was pretty cool. Our little setup there, we're like a little small table. You see CBS Sports and NFL Network, and Pat's little area was big too. So we were kind of a small little table, and then out of nowhere we got Pat McAfee on guest with us, and he had Tony Khan on deck waiting. Obviously, Tony Khan, the owner of the Jaguars and also the founder of AEW. So these two kind of powers. And the NFL.
Pat McAfee is WWE SmackDown's announcer,
Exactly.
so you can put two and two together on that.
Yeah, so there was a little, cross promotion. I'll say that, Fernando, for the pro wrestling world. So it kind of felt like a power stage here at Compas on the Beat. And Pat leaves, and he tags in Tony Khan, and he sits down, and I start getting text messages from Adam Hill, Raiders beat reporter for the Las Vegas Review Journal, my former coworker, and he starts telling me, I hate you, F you for getting Pat McAfee on the show. But I guess that wasn't enough for him. He wanted me to see his anger. So he comes over in the middle of the Tony Khan interview and gives me the bird, gives me the finger in front of Tony Khan. I'm like, what are you doing, Adam? And I just start cracking up and laughing. I'm like, that's just Adam. So he was really frustrated. He gave me the finger while I was doing an interview. But later on, Adam got Pat McAfee on the show. So it worked out. So he owes me an apology. Take back the bird, Adam. But it was a funny story. And, I'll start with this, with the whole Pat McAfee thing, Fernando, because you guys knew, you and your brother knew he was going to be there. You're like, oh, here's a picture or a video of them on the jet from Indy coming to LA for Super Bowl Radio Row. They're going to be here at any moment. And you're like, what if we get them on? I'm like, yeah, right, Fernando. You're not going to get Pat McAfee on Compas on the Beat, whatever. You're like, no, what do we do? I'm like, okay, fine. If you get them, I'll buy you dinner as a bet. So get them on. And then sure enough, that same first day, a Monday of Super Bowl Radio,
an hour later.
yeah, the wheels are in motion. We're last there because on the Monday too, because I was still working and writing. I was making you guys wait. My deadline finally paid off for you guys. So Pat McAfee strolls in. We talk to him. He says, yeah, we'll come on the show. But then by the middle of the week, you guys are getting worried. When is he going to come on? And Pat McAfee, I swear I gained a lot of respect for him. He gave me the breakdown of the schedule, so he kind of would be at ease. I think I see him on Wednesday in the bathroom, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Pat? It's me from the other day. You're still coming on. I was like, yeah, get you guys on Friday. You're second. What happened Friday? He had an interview. We were second. Went on Compas on the Beat, like he said. So man of the word.
Is there it was just funny how that whole thing happened, but yeah, it was a great interview. I mean, Pat really gives you an insight, and that's the thing. It was awesome that we could sit down with him and not have to talk about the Super Bowl game. It was all about how he built his thing, how he did everything, and really, I mean, I was throwing in there a couple of things that he says on the show because I knew he'd like that kind of stuff, and he was getting all wound up with it. So I was like, oh, that's funny. But yeah, no, it was definitely awesome. And then obviously this week we'll have some more Super Bowl stories coming out. Obviously this last week we were at the Combine. It was a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, we tried some good food out there. There was a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting characters that we got to meet that you see on TV or you see on other interviews, and you're like, oh wow. So I don't know, Gilbert, what you want to say, but I thought it was a pretty successful week for the Compas at the Combine also.
Yeah, you kind of see, you read some stories, you hear some stuff, or you see some stuff on Twitter about how it goes down for the Combine week in Indy. And it was like a little different from what I expected, but overall, I'm like, okay, we were a part of it. Even if I won't be disappointed if it leaves Indianapolis because I really liked it there as a host. The
but
hotel
everybody
was
knows
close.
where to go.
Yeah, everybody knows where to go. Restaurants, bars, the convention center, the stadium, the hotels, they were all right next to each other. So I love that aspect about it. But yeah, it is kind of you mingle, you get to meet people, you get to talk to people you probably thought you were never going to talk to. I won't say too much because what you see over there, it's for your breaking news stories and stuff like that. But I'll say this, man, Mike McDaniel was a star of the week. People love Mike McDaniels. Everywhere he went, people wanted to be around him. He had like an entourage. This guy was, he was a star of the week, man. I don't know what you thought about Mike.
Dude, can I say one thing about him that obviously that
Sure.
So by the end of the week, and this was funny, this is what happened with Pat McAfee. By the end of the week, all the boys were saying hi to us, everybody was saying hi to us, everything. That was what happened with Mike McDaniel. Like we saw him every single night. We would always chat with him for a little bit, and then I remember the last night he goes, "My guys, I'll see you guys. Peace out." This and that and that. And I just started dying of laughter. I was like, dude, that's awesome. Because one night I told him something in Spanish. He's like, man, I need to work on my Spanish. I live in Miami. Yeah. I'm like, dude, come on with the compas. We got you. We'll help you out. He's like, yeah, you guys should help me out. I need it. And we just started laughing. But he's honestly a really great guy. He's hilarious. And then he jumps on the Pat McAfee show that Friday, and I thought he was even funnier. Like he really is electric, to be honest.
Dude, that interview with Pat and Mike McDaniel was must-see TV. It was hilarious. He is funny. I'm still very intrigued how he's going to be as a head coach for the Miami Dolphins, but as a person, as a character, as an interview guest, man, that guy is funny. He's hilarious. He's different. I mean, it's kind of because you get all these coaches who are like really uptight and secretive and like, kind of military-like and by the book. But Mike McDaniel is a whole different character, so I'm for it, man.
Did you see that tweet that was circulating around the Combine that supposedly that's who Brandon Staley wanted as his offensive coordinator?
Yeah,
that was pretty.
That would have been interesting.
Can you imagine, like you and me with him, like for a year? I mean, or our media room with him for a year. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, what could have been, man. Mike McDaniel in LA. But it's in Miami. It worked out for him. So
yeah, no, and now he has a good opportunity to go down there to really. He gets to work with Waddle. He gets to work with Tua. That offensive line still needs some rebuilding. I think they franchised their Gasecki. Yeah, right.
yeah, Mike Gesicki.
Yeah. So they have some money to play down there. So their defense is pretty good. So now it's going to be interesting to see what McDaniel can do with Tua, what he's going to be able to do as a whole. So I'm really interested to see kind of what they do. But man, it was such a fun week, and then obviously getting to experience it as the compas, like the three of us getting to do it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, like, it was a lot of fun, but I was tired, throughout the whole week. It was
Yeah.
a lot of late nights, but it was productive work-wise, especially, you're out late getting to know people, and then you're up early getting to know the new players in the NFL draft, and that was all cool experience. And it kind of felt like we kind of picked up from Super Bowl Radio Row, where people were like, oh,
Yeah.
look at the compas, had a lot of guests, and like, oh, and then, oh, there goes Fernando and Gilbert, good reporters, good podcast people. We're in the world now, Fernando. We're on the podcast company there, but we had a bunch of guests on, man, that week, and I felt like, okay, now we're getting to know some coaches, some agents, front office people. Like, okay, we're like, getting the best of both worlds. So very, very productive for me. I was very tired by the end of it, and I'll say this, I don't know if you know the story, but it was kind of a good way to end the week, because we had a lot of good company too, man, like Adam Hill, Cassie from Las Vegas Review Journal. My former coworkers at the Las Vegas Review Journal were all great to hang out with. But then, like, we end the week with Emmanuel and Kaylin. We go to St. Elmo's with your brother as well. We can't find anywhere to go watch the UFC fight, Masvidal against Kobe Covington, which was very surprising. And then downtown Indianapolis was very crowded, so we kind of go in the middle of nowhere. 20 minutes.
It felt like I was in an episode of like Gotham, and like everything was just loose. Like there was people sitting on top of like Mustangs, on the back of Mustangs, like cops stopping people. Like there was I'm telling you, and I told you guys in the car, I feel like the whole city was told, hey, nobody go to downtown. This is all for the NFL. And now everybody was let loose, and people were acting reckless because, man, it was so crazy Saturday night.
Yeah, it was crowded. We couldn't go anywhere to go watch this fight, or even if they had it, it was probably crowded. Most places didn't have it.
What did Emmanuel said? We're a family-friendly place.
Yeah. He called the Yard House and like, oh, we don't have the fight. It's a family-friendly place. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I could tell Emmanuel was getting frustrated. He wants to watch the fight, so we're he's looking it up on the internet, whatever. And then
we went 20 minutes away.
Greenwood, Indiana. We ended up 5 minorities going in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. But it ended up being okay when there was no problem. Nice people, nice service, so it worked out. But I was a little kind of sketchy at first.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, it was a good place. There was nobody there. It was basically like we had the place to ourselves.
It was so late in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they closed as soon as the fight was over. So that was pretty cool that they waited until the fight was over. But what's funny, Gilbert, is that real quick, I feel like what these last 2 events have taught us is, man, the compa, like we're building something. I'm excited about it. I mean, Radio Row was awesome. Obviously, we took our punches, we took our kicks and everything, but now next year we're going to be way better prepared for what to do at Radio Row. We're going to be prepared for everything. But man, these last 2 events have really shown me, in a sense, that we're on the cusp of something, and we're honestly building something great. And I'm really excited about the future of Compas on the Beat.
Yeah, and like it was a little nerve-wracking not knowing what to expect, because I've never been part of a Super Bowl Radio Row. I've never gone to a combine in Indiana. So okay, how do things work? Now I know how things work, what to expect, what to look forward to, how to game plan. So we were some rookies out there. And the crazy thing I've noticed, Fernando, at the combine, there was a lot of people going there for their first time. So
yeah,
we got to experience it with a lot of people, meet new people. So these last couple of weeks or the last month has been pretty fun. And also exciting for you and your new job, moving to Indiana. Again, it's a little different without you over here, but I'm excited for your new chapter, and I'm excited for the new chapter of Compas on the Beat. Like, yeah, I don't know what the future brings. Maybe it might be a little different show. Maybe things happen. I don't know, but I do know we're going to keep pushing and try to make this work. At all costs, and maybe it might be a different kind of format. Who knows? But we do want to, keep telling our stories, sharing stories, talking about sports, and having a good product.
100%. That's what we're all about. That's why we're going to continue this. I mean, when people were asking me, I was like, no, dude, like we're going to continue this. I mean, we haven't busted our asses in the last year to just all of a sudden quit. Like we're going to try our hardest to get through this, to do this and put out a good product. And I feel like we've done that. Man, when the guest that we got at Radio Row, and that was another thing at the Combine, Ron Rivera recognized us at the damn Combine. Like that was so awesome. Like, and he said, you guys are doing great work. And I thought, wow, like, okay, if Ron Rivera is telling us that and other people are telling us that, I mean, I'm excited. And even our good friend Doug from PFF, he even told us, like, dude, what you guys got going on, like, that's honestly a lot. That's a really cool podcast. So, I mean, I'm telling you, I feel like and I think our 1 year anniversary is coming up, Gilbert, for the podcast. I don't know when it is, but I think what we've done in a year is incredible. I'm honestly surprised at all the guests that we've been able to get. Oh, we did?
I think probably it was like the first week of March.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, there you go. Happy anniversary.
Congrats to you and I.
Huh?
Congrats to you and I for 1 year anniversary.
Exactly. So there you go. But it's honestly, it's crazy what we've been able to do with it. But man, I'm so excited about what you and Dan and I are going to be able to do moving forward. Because I mean, honestly, like I said, I really do feel like we have something really good cooking, and I'm excited about the future of Compas on the Beat.
Yeah, I'll end with this because, like you mentioned, the 1 year. Like at first, I kind of was doing it because, I'm more of a writer. I do have some digital media experience, but I hadn't done it since Las Vegas. I was kind of missing it. I felt rusty, and I knew it was a skill that I need as a reporter, especially in this age where you need to do a little bit of everything. And Fernando, I think I tell you all the time, I think you're great on camera. You do great work. You're a great speaker. You're funny. You're outgoing. So I thought this was a strength of yours. And I wanted to kind of, see how you operate. And I got to see that throughout the whole year. And it turned out like you're the man, man. You got promoted with a new job. So it worked out. So for me, I felt like I'm a little more outside of my comfort zone. That's what I wanted. But then the crazy part, it turned out people like what we're doing. And people like the chemistry. People like the show. And then I know it's kind of sad when you're leaving, but seeing the comments of people saying what's going to happen with Compas, that reassures me that people like it and they want this to continue.
Exactly. No, and honestly, I mean, it is like I am kind of like, oh, like I think you guys are gonna talk to Mike Williams pretty soon, and I'm kind of like,
actually, yeah, we are tomorrow, Wednesday.
Okay, yeah. So I first thought of mine was like, damn, like it sucks I'm not gonna be there because obviously, I mean, I love kicking it with you guys and hanging out with you guys and all that, but yeah, it's gonna be totally different, but yeah, I'm excited about the future of this. We're gonna have even more great stories to tell. This is going to be honestly a lot of fun, and I'm definitely excited, especially because this year you come to Indiana, so I'm going to make sure I'm here for that game so that I can go down and see you guys and hang out with you guys and all that. So I'm definitely Compas is going to continue. We're excited, man. This is crazy, but yeah, Gilbert, we're powering forward and we're going to do this, and I'm excited about it. And man, I'm just excited about some of the guests that we're going to get on this year. I mean, if last year with barely any experience, we got some good guests on. Imagine this year with more weapons in our repertoire. I'm sure we're going to be able to get even some more fun people on.
Yeah, Fernando, I guess, we can end it with this, but I feel like for us, every year, our new year should be in March. So how about that? It's a new year, a new chapter, a new season. I'm ready for year 2, Fernando.
Let's do it. All right, Gilbert. You know what? It's time. Vámonos.
Ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.